safely to the U.S.
Afghan pop star and singer Ariana Saeed joins us now. Ariana, thank you so much for being here. God bless you. We're glad you and your husband made it out safe. If you would, share with us your experience about what it was like in those final days being in Kabul and getting out.
Good morning to you all. Thanks for having me. Getting out of Kabul was an absolute horrifying experience for me, but I'm very grateful, that I'm alive. But to be quite honest with you, I'm quite worried and concerned about all those millions of people who are left behind in Afghanistan and they have nowhere to go to. My heart just bleeds for them. And the situation in Afghanistan right now it's really concerning. People, the day I was coming, there was like thousands and thousands of people at the airport trying to get into the planes on top of each other. Kids were crying and screaming. So many, like thousands of people from provinces, they've come to Kabul and they don't have shelters. They don't have food to eat. The situation is really, really bad. It's really bad.
Ariana, thank you so much for joining us on the show. By the way, I've seen so many of your music videos. I know how popular you are around the world, and especially in that area of the world. Mike, I have just a question for you. When I see the images, and I'm glad you got out, but some of the images we've seen are these giant cargo aircrafts packed with people, and most of them are men. And I'm confused because we here always think of women and children first. Can you help me understand? Because it seems to me from everything we know about Afghanistan that it is women like yourself who have defied some of these cultural norms, young girls who are at risk of being, sold into sex slavery with the Taliban, Christian minorities. How is this all? Why are there so many men and not as many women and children on these rescue aircrafts?
You know what? You are absolutely right. I totally agree with you on this. Well, the priority for America right now is to get out only the American citizens, people who have American citizenship or the passport. Right. And unfortunately, even those with a passport, with the citizenship, they cannot get to the gate where there is the American military base with the planes, with the C-17, so they can get them out. And all these other people from every part of Afghanistan, and most of the men, as you said, they have rushed into the airport and they're trying to get out of there. And obviously, it's understandable as well, because they're all, they all fear for their lives. Mm-hmm. And they're taking any risk, but the only thing on their minds is just to get out of Afghanistan because they're scared of Taliban. The Taliban don't have a good history in Afghanistan, and with everything that they did 20 years ago, they fear that all that will happen all over again, which is really sad and unfortunate. I mean, it's very unfortunate to see that the entire world left Afghanistan in a situation like this. They let Taliban take over a country in a span of a few days, and in a matter of a few hours, I was in Kabul when Taliban just took over and they started walking to the airport. When I had a flight on the 15th of August, I was supposed to fly out, and then we heard like shootings, and then within a span of a few minutes, the entire airport was empty of the staff and the security. They just ran away. They left the airport to the people. And then the people rushed into the planes, and each and every plane was like filled with thousands of people, and there was no room, there was no oxygen to breathe. Kids were crying and screaming, the women were crying, and it's all a chaos. It's a chaos, and I don't understand how can that happen. What kind of a game is being played in Afghanistan right now? We're all confused about it, but it's just very unfair for the people of Afghanistan. It's unfair for the US Army, for all those lives that were lost in Afghanistan over the years. What about them? Like, the world has forgotten why they went to Afghanistan initially. What was their plans? They were there to get rid of Al-Qaeda and get rid of Taliban. And then 20 years later, after all this money, the millions and trillions of dollars that were spent in Afghanistan, all the lives that were lost, they would just suddenly leave Afghanistan in chaos and they come back. And I understand and I appreciate the fact that they're trying to get the U.S.
The citizens,
civilians with a passport out. But what about the millions of people that we would be left behind in Afghanistan and they have nowhere to go to? It's just horrifying and it's crazy. I don't understand. I'm really confused.
Ariana, you described the situation at the airport. We hear in your words the images of chaos. Take me on the way to the airport, if you will. And it may be there's timing differences between what's happening now and when you got out, but we hear the reports of how difficult it is to get to the airport, the streets which are controlled by the Taliban. I heard you talk about a horrifying experience. Were you confident you could even make your way to the airport?
Oh my God, not at all. You know what? As I mentioned earlier, on the 15th of August, I was supposed to have a flight at 8 p.m. In the evening with a commercial flight. So 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we went to the airport a bit earlier because the airport was in chaos. And unfortunately, as I mentioned, the security and the staff of the airport left the airport for the people, and the airplanes got filled up with people and there was no space for anybody. And the plane didn't take off because obviously the pilots ran away as well because they were scared, because there was people inside the planes with guns. They were armed. And so we had no choice but to try to get out of the airplane on the 15th of August, which was big risk for me because I have been a direct target of Taliban for the past few years, because besides the fact that I'm a singer and I've been a judge on the biggest music show in Afghanistan, I've also been a very outspoken women's rights activist. And I have talked against them and I have posted against them for so many years now. And if they would catch me alive, God knows what they would do to me. I was, so we heard that the Taliban are walking towards the airport. So I was thinking with my fiance, if I stay here inside the airport and if they come inside and they ask for names and for identities, the first person that they would catch would be me and my fiance. So this is like around 10 or 11 o'clock at night. So we decided to walk out of the airport. So unfortunately, there's only one road that you can walk outside the airport or come into the airport. And we had to go through that road, even though we had heard that the Taliban are walking towards the airport. We had no other option.
Right.
So we started walking. And when we are walking out, hundreds of more people, they're coming in and they're just running towards the airport and we're getting out. So we reached the end of the road and suddenly we hear gunshots, like right in front of us, like 2 meters away. And then we have a video of that, that we can share with you guys later on if you wanted to. So there's gunshots, and then one of I'm not sure still if this was a security person or if this was a Talib. I'm really confused. So one of them just ran towards us with a huge gun in his hand, and he's like, "Where are you going?" In Pashto language. And we're just trying to get out. And I was lucky that, in Afghanistan right now, the hijab that women wear, I was wearing that. You could only see my eyes with glasses. And I was trying my best to hide myself as much as I can. And my fiance also the same thing. So he was like, "Where are you going?" I said, "We just want to get out of here. We just want to get out." He said, "Okay, get out." And he was shouting and he was rushing us. And then my fiance asks him, he's like, "Do you belong to the security team?" And first he didn't understand what he means. He's like, just get out of here. And then he says, "It's okay. Look, the Taliban is standing with us as well." And then I look around and I see a group of entire Taliban, with one of them probably being the leader. He's wearing white clothes and he has his hands behind him and he's like thoroughly scanning people. Like, he looked at me. I remember, like, I'm shivering right now when I talk about this. He looked at me like we met eye to eye, and then quickly I looked away because I was scared of him recognizing me somehow. And then there was like gunfires, like we walked through the gunshots, thousands of people there. They were like shooting in the air to scatter people, the people who were trying to get to the airport. So somehow, we managed to get into a car that my fiance's cousin had brought, to rescue us from there. And then the next day, so basically that night, he took us to his house. We get to his house, and then the next morning we wake up and we see a bunch of Taliban coming to the same area where we're hiding. And then there's news of them searching house to house. And then again, we're left, all in fear and scared, thinking, okay, what if they come to this house and then they recognize me? What do we do?
Ariana, real quick, we're almost out of time. How did you then get back to the airport? Just real quick.
Yeah, so basically, the next night at about 11 o'clock at night, we tried to make a trip to the airport no matter what happens. We took 2 cars, me in one car and my fiance in the other car with some women and children. And we went past through 5 Talib security checks. And one of them stopped our car, but he put the little light inside the car. And when he saw a child with me, he said, okay, go. Wow. And then we went through the checkpoints and then got to the other side of the airport where the U.S. military base is, and it's called Kaya. There's a little metallic door that you have to go through inside the base. But unfortunately, that road is like really little and filled with thousands of people waiting to get inside. And then it was a nightmare to get through all these people to the gate. And then we got to the gate and showed them our passports. And initially they were not letting us in because I have a UK passport, not an American. And my fiance is Afghan Canadian. But then there was one translator who recognized us. He was Afghan, and he told the soldiers, look, this is a famous singer in Afghanistan and you need to get her out of here.
Right.
Then they were nice enough to let us in, and that's how
it sounds harrowing, Ariana, and we're so glad that you're safe, and we know your millions of fans are as well. I know that you're just wearing right now, the only thing you have is the t-shirt that you're wearing as far as clothing, I've been told, and we wish you just the best, and we hope that you will continue to be a voice for women and women's rights in Afghanistan. Sure, go one really quick.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I have one more message to give to the world. Please put pressure on Pakistan, because the main problem in Afghanistan is Pakistan. Where do the Taliban come from? Where do they get support from? How do they get trained? It's all Pakistan who helped them. Please, America, please put pressure on Pakistan. And please don't forget the Afghan nation. Please, please, please.
Thank you, Ariana,
for sharing your story with us.
We really appreciate it.